Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we are about to embark on a journey that will transform the way you experience the world and interact with others. It's a journey to a place where anger, frustration, and irritation no longer control your life. A place where peace, calm, and unshakable inner strength become your natural state. This is not a fantasy. It is a reality you can create, starting right now. How often have you found yourself boiling with anger over something someone said or did? How often has a careless word or action disturbed your peace, made you lose sleep, or left you feeling powerless? If you're like most people, the answer is too often. But what if I told you there's a way to break free from this endless cycle of emotional disturbance? What if you could learn how to never get angry or bothered by anyone again? This may sound impossible, even unrealistic, because we've all been conditioned to believe that anger is a natural, unavoidable response to the challenges and hurts of life. We think it shows strength, that it is a signal of passion or a necessary defense. But the truth is far from that. Anger is not strength. Anger is a sign that you have temporarily lost control over your mind and emotions. And once you understand this, you realize that mastering your mind is the key to mastering your emotions and your life. Today I want to share with you the steps to this mastery. Steps that will empower you to take control of your emotional responses and guard your peace like the most precious treasure. Because peace is exactly that, your most valuable asset. Without peace, all the success, wealth, or relationships in the world lose their meaning. But with peace, even the toughest situations become manageable. Throughout this series, you'll learn that nobody has the power to make you angry unless you give them that power. You'll discover how to observe your thoughts instead of reacting to them, how to set boundaries that protect your energy, and how to cultivate compassion and understanding rather than frustration and resentment. You learn the art of pausing, breathing, and choosing calm over chaos. A skill that can transform not just your emotions, but your entire life. Imagine waking up each day with a calm mind and a steady heart. Imagine moving through the world without the weight of anger dragging you down or the sting of others' words cutting you deeply. Imagine being like a deep, still lake, peaceful, composed, and unshaken by passing storms. This is the power of emotional mastery. So let's begin this journey together. Open your mind, be willing to learn, and prepare to reclaim your power over your own emotions. This is the path to never getting angry or bothered by anyone. A path to true freedom and inner peace. Ladies and gentlemen, your transformation starts now. How to never get angry or bothered by anyone? Mastering the mind, the first step to inner peace. Let me share a truth with you. Anger is not a sign of strength. It's a sign that you've lost control. And when you learn to control your reactions, that's when you reclaim your power. This is the very first step on the journey to never getting angry or bothered by anyone. Mastering your mind. Life is going to challenge you. People will say hurtful things, act unfairly, or misunderstand you. They might disrespect you or try to bring you down. But here's the thing. Their actions don't have to determine your peace. You can't control what others do, but you can absolutely control how you respond to them. And that difference is everything. Most people are like matchsticks, ready to explode at the slightest spark. One rude comment, one mistake, and suddenly their day is ruined, their mood destroyed. But imagine a different kind of person. Someone calm, steady, like a lake with no ripples. Someone who remains unshaken no matter what storms come their way. This is the person who has mastered their mind. But how do you get there? The first step is simple but not easy. Start observing your thoughts instead of reacting to them. When someone says or does something that would usually trigger your anger, don't rush to react. Don't feed the fire with your emotions. Instead, just pause and notice what's happening inside you. Feel the anger rise, but don't give it permission to take over. Your mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. When you train your mind to pause before reacting, to breathe deeply and detach yourself from the immediate emotional reaction, you build emotional resilience. And this resilience is what turns you from a person who's controlled by others into a person who controls their own energy. Here's a powerful secret. No one can make you angry without your permission. That's right. Anger is not something that happens to you, it's something you choose. When you take full ownership of your emotions, you stop blaming others for how you feel. This is the sign of true emotional maturity and self-mastery. When you stop letting others control your feelings, you become unshakable. You become like a fortress that no harsh words or negative actions can breach. This isn't about bottling up your emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about consciously deciding what deserves your energy and what doesn't. So today, when someone tries to provoke you, when they push your buttons, practice this. Pause. Breathe. Choose peace. Remind yourself that your calm is your power and your silence is your strength. The more you do this, the more you will notice that you don't get bothered as easily. Your peace becomes your shield. Remember, mastering your mind is not about perfection, it's about progress. Each moment you resist the urge to get angry is a victory, and these victories will add up to a life where no one has the power to disturb your peace. This is the first step to never getting angry or bothered by anyone. Take control of your mind and watch your life transform. Understanding others and letting go of expectations. The next step on this journey to never getting angry or bothered by anyone is learning to understand others and, more importantly, to let go of unrealistic expectations. This step is powerful because most of our anger and frustration come from unmet expectations. Expectations about how people should behave, what they should say, or how they should treat us. Think about it. How many times have you been upset or angry because someone didn't meet your expectations? Maybe a friend didn't call back, a colleague didn't recognize your hard work, or a family member said something that hurt your feelings. These are normal experiences. But the key to not letting these situations bother you lies in how you view and manage your expectations. Here's the truth. You cannot control others, but you can control your expectations. When you expect others to act a certain way, you set yourself up for disappointment. This disappointment often turns into anger, frustration, or sadness. But if you can learn to expect less from others, not because you stop caring, but because you become realistic about human nature, you will protect yourself from unnecessary pain. Why? Because people are flawed. They have their own fears, insecurities, and struggles. They aren't perfect, and they don't owe you anything. When you realize this, you stop waiting for them to behave the way you want and start accepting them as they are. This acceptance doesn't mean you approve of bad behavior, but it frees you from carrying the weight of others' actions on your shoulders. When you lower your expectations, you stop reacting emotionally to others' mistakes or shortcomings. Instead, you develop compassion and patience. You begin to see that most hurtful behavior comes from pain, ignorance, or personal issues, not from a desire to harm you. This shift in perspective creates emotional distance, which protects your peace. Another important mindset is to stop taking things personally. When someone is rude, dismissive, or critical, remember that their behavior says more about them than it does about you. Their words and actions are a reflection of their own struggles, biases, or moods. By not personalizing their behavior, you keep your heart free from unnecessary suffering. Letting go of expectations also means letting go of control. We often try to control others by manipulating outcomes or insisting they behave a certain way, but this is a losing battle. The more you try to control, the more frustrated you become. True peace comes when you release control and accept that people will do what they do. This doesn't mean you become passive or tolerate disrespect. It means you choose where to invest your energy. If someone continuously disrespects you, it's okay to set boundaries or distance yourself, but you do so from a place of calm, not anger. You protect your peace rather than losing it. So practice this today. Expect less, accept more. And don't take things personally. When you do, you'll find yourself less bothered by others' actions and words. You'll create space for understanding, forgiveness, and peace. This is the second step toward never getting angry or bothered by anyone. Understanding human nature, letting go of unrealistic expectations, and choosing compassion over frustration. Mastering emotional control and practicing mindfulness. Now that we've talked about understanding others and letting go of expectations, the next crucial step is mastering your own emotions, especially anger, and practicing mindfulness to maintain calmness in any situation. Here's the reality. You can't always control what people say or do, but you can control how you respond. The power lies within you. Emotional control is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed and strengthened with practice. One of the biggest reasons people get angry or bothered by others is because they react impulsively, without thinking. When someone says something hurtful or unfair, the emotional trigger sets off a rapid chain reaction in the brain, and before you know it, you're angry, defensive, or upset. This automatic response feels natural, but it's not helpful or productive. The first part of mastering emotional control is creating a pause between the stimulus, what the other person says or does, and your response. When you feel anger bubbling up, take a deep breath. Literally, pause. This pause gives your brain a moment to process the situation and choose a calm response instead of reacting in anger. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present and aware of your emotions without judgment, helps you do this. By observing your feelings as they arise, you gain control over them rather than letting them control you. Mindfulness trains your brain to recognize anger early, so you can intervene before it escalates. Here's a simple technique you can practice anytime. When you feel anger starting, focus on your breath. Breathe deeply in through your nose, hold it for a moment, and then breathe out slowly through your mouth. Do this several times. This simple action sends a signal to your nervous system to relax, lowering your heart rate and calming your mind. Another important part of emotional mastery is reframing your thoughts. When someone upsets you, your mind often creates stories about the situation, like, they did that on purpose, or they don't respect me. These thoughts fuel anger. Instead, try to challenge these assumptions. Ask yourself, is this really true? Could there be another explanation? For example, if a coworker snaps at you, instead of immediately feeling offended, consider that they might be stressed or having a bad day. This shift in thinking reduces anger and increases empathy. Also, remind yourself that your peace is more important than being right or winning an argument. Often people get caught up in proving their point or defending themselves, which only fuels conflict. But when you value your inner calm above all, you can step back and let go of the need to engage in every battle. Lastly, regular mindfulness practice, whether through meditation, journaling, or simply taking mindful moments throughout your day, strengthens your emotional resilience. It rewires your brain to be less reactive and more centered. Over time, you'll notice that you're less bothered by negativity, criticism, or rude behavior. Mastering emotional control and practicing mindfulness is a daily choice. It takes patience and commitment, but the rewards are incredible. You become the calm in the storm, unshaken by the actions or words of others. This is the third step on your path to never getting angry or bothered by anyone. Taking control of your emotions through mindfulness and conscious response. Setting strong boundaries and protecting your energy. In the journey to never getting angry or bothered by anyone, setting boundaries and protecting your energy is absolutely essential. Many people struggle because they allow others to cross invisible lines, leading to frustration, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. Boundaries are like the fences around your personal space. They define what you will and won't accept in your interactions with others. Without clear boundaries, people may take advantage of your kindness, disrespect your feelings, or overwhelm you with negativity. The first step to setting strong boundaries is knowing your limits. Take some time to reflect on what behaviors, words, or actions you find unacceptable or draining. Is it constant criticism? Is it people interrupting your time? Or maybe it's toxic gossip or disrespectful language. Identifying your limits helps you recognize when a boundary is being crossed. Once you know your limits, communicate them clearly and confidently. This doesn't mean being rude or aggressive. It means being assertive. For example, if someone repeatedly disrespects your time by being late, you can say, "I value punctuality and prefer meetings to start on time. If you're late, I'll begin without you." Simple statements like this create clear expectations. Remember, setting boundaries is not about controlling others. It's about respecting yourself and making sure you don't allow negative influences to impact your peace. When you communicate boundaries firmly, you teach others how to treat you. Sometimes people will test your boundaries, They might try to guilt trip you or ignore what you've said. This is where your inner strength comes into play. Stand firm. Remind yourself that protecting your peace is your priority. Saying no is a powerful tool. It's okay to say no to people or situations that drain your energy or make you angry. Another important aspect of protecting your energy is being selective about who you allow into your life. You don't owe anyone a place in your inner circle. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, respect your boundaries, and contribute positively to your mental and emotional well-being. If you encounter toxic people who consistently bother you or trigger anger, it's okay to limit contact or walk away. Sometimes, the best way to protect your peace is to remove toxic influences entirely. This may feel difficult, especially with family or close acquaintances, but remember that your well-being must come first. Protecting your energy also means taking care of yourself physically and mentally. When you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, you're more vulnerable to being bothered or angry. Prioritize self-care practices such as regular exercise, good sleep, healthy eating, and time for relaxation. When your body and mind are well cared for, you're naturally more resilient. Lastly, learn to distance yourself emotionally from drama and negativity. When gossip or conflict arises, remind yourself that it's not your battle. You don't need to engage or take sides. Practice emotional detachment. Observe without getting involved. This mindset shift helps you stay calm and unbothered. By setting strong boundaries and protecting your energy, you build a fortress around your peace of mind. This is a powerful way to ensure you never get angry or bothered by anyone, because you control the environment you allow around yourself. This is the fourth step. Owning your space, saying no when necessary, and shielding your energy from negativity. When you do this consistently, you reclaim your calm and your power. Practicing mindfulness and developing emotional mastery. Welcome to the final part of this journey, where we uncover the ultimate tools to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Mindfulness and emotional mastery. These are not just concepts, but powerful practices that help you rise above reactive emotions and respond to life with calm, clarity, and control. Mindfulness means being fully present in the moment, without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts and feelings without immediately reacting to them. When someone says something upsetting or when a frustrating situation arises, mindfulness allows you to pause and notice your emotional response before it spirals into anger or agitation. Imagine this: someone criticizes you unfairly. The natural reaction might be to get defensive or angry. But with mindfulness, instead of reacting impulsively, you catch yourself thinking, "I feel hurt or annoyed right now." This simple awareness creates space between the trigger and your response. You no longer react like a volcano erupting, but respond like a calm observer. This shift is incredibly liberating. To cultivate mindfulness, start by practicing simple breathing exercises. Take a few deep breaths anytime you feel tension rising. Focus on the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. This anchors you in the present and slows down racing thoughts. Over time, you can expand this practice to mindful walking, eating, or even listening, being fully attentive to whatever you're doing. Emotional mastery goes hand in hand with mindfulness. It means learning to regulate your emotions instead of being controlled by them. Emotions are natural and important, but unchecked emotions, especially anger, can lead to harm and regret. Emotional mastery empowers you to recognize your feelings, understand why they arise, and choose how to express them constructively. One key to emotional mastery is reframing your perspective. When faced with something irritating, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is there another way to look at this? For example, if someone is rude, instead of taking it personally, consider that they may be having a bad day or dealing with their own struggles. This doesn't excuse bad behavior, but helps you detach emotionally and maintain your peace. Another practical tool is emotional journaling. Write down what you feel and why. Sometimes putting your emotions on paper helps you process them and see patterns in your triggers. It's a safe way to release pent-up feelings without harming yourself or others. Remember, developing emotional mastery is a journey, not a destination. You won't always be perfect, and that's okay. What matters is your commitment to growing, learning, and responding with intention. Lastly, Remind yourself daily that your peace of mind is your greatest asset. It's worth protecting fiercely. Practice gratitude, focus on what you can control, and let go of what you can't. This mindset makes it easier to remain unbothered. To sum it up, mindfulness brings awareness, emotional mastery brings control. Together, they create an unshakable calm inside you. You become the master of your emotions, no longer a slave to anger or frustration caused by others. This is your ultimate shield against being bothered or angry. It's the power to live peacefully no matter what life or people throw your way. Thank you for joining me in this series. Start applying these steps today and watch your inner calm grow stronger every day. You have the power to choose peace. Choose it now. Ladies and gentlemen, as we reach the conclusion of today's journey, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. You've discovered that anger is not a symbol of strength, but a signal that control has slipped away. More importantly, you've been shown that mastering your mind is the gateway to mastering your emotions, and ultimately, your life. You now understand that no one can make you angry without your consent. The power to choose your response is always in your hands. This truth alone can change everything. When you stop giving others control over your feelings, you reclaim your peace, your most valuable asset. We've explored the importance of letting go of unrealistic expectations and accepting people as they are, not as you wish them to be. This acceptance isn't about tolerating bad behavior, but about freeing yourself from the burden of disappointment and resentment. When you stop personalizing others' actions and instead cultivate compassion, your emotional space becomes calm and protected. You've also learned how crucial it is to practice mindfulness and emotional control. By pausing before reacting, focusing on your breath, and reframing your thoughts, you interrupt the cycle of anger. You develop resilience that turns you into a steady, calm presence. Someone who does not easily succumb to the storms around them. Setting firm boundaries has been emphasized as a vital part of this journey. Boundaries protect your energy and preserve your inner calm. Learning to say no, standing firm in your limits, and surrounding yourself with people who respect and uplift you are essential steps toward emotional freedom. Remember, this path is not about perfection but progress. Each moment you choose peace over anger, you grow stronger. Each time you refuse to be bothered by negativity, you reinforce your fortress of calm. The journey to never getting angry or bothered by anyone is a daily commitment, a practice of mindfulness, self-awareness, and self-respect. As you move forward, keep this in mind. Your peace is priceless. Guard it fiercely. No harsh word, no frustrating action, no careless mistake from others has the right to steal your calm unless you allow it. When you embrace this truth, you become unstoppable. Imagine living a life where your emotions are your allies, not your enemies. A life where your mind is clear, your heart steady, and your spirit free. This is not just a dream. It is a reality, within your reach, beginning right now. So, I invite you to take this wisdom, practice these steps, and watch how your world transforms. You hold the key to a life of unshakable peace, joy, and freedom. The power to change your emotional story lies within you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, your calm is your power, your silence is your strength, and your peace is your greatest victory. Until next time, stay strong, stay peaceful, and keep mastering your mind. Your transformation starts now.